everyone, and welcome back to the Fishroom. Now, unfortunately, this video was supposed to be about the 20 gallon up here that I recently scaped, and I don't know what I hit when I was recording that entire video, all of the clips, but there was no audio. It was really sped up. I'm not sure what I did, but today we're going to scape the 75, but before that we're going to go over this tank a little bit. Now, as you can see right now, you're sitting on my workbench where I usually sit and edit videos, so this is my typical view of the tank, which is why I wanted to show you it first. Now below it you can see the 55 gallon Marisite rainbow tank that has all of my immersed plants growing out of it. You got a philodendron here. I'm not sure what the new plant is over there that I've recently put in, but there is also a pothos growing along the top. And you might see a couple of spawning mops floating in there because I've been trying to breed these rainbows. I've pulled quite a few eggs. We'll see how that goes. But anyway, back to the standard 20 gallon tank up here. I built the substrate as I do all of my tanks. I used the pea gravel as the main layer to build up height in the back, and I kind of build it from the corner closest to us up into the corner of the back, just because this is my normal viewing area of it, and I wanted to maximize that effect. So we'll go over and take a look, and I'll show you what we did here. So, as you can see, this is the lowest corner, and this back corner is the highest. So we used gravel underneath, then we layered it with some topsoil to give it that nice nutrient layer. And then we capped it all with sand. You see we have some Ceres stone just to build this back corner up a little bit higher for this Amazon sword. Now it's not looking the best now, but once it starts to grow in, we get some new growth on there, it's going to look awesome. And just imagine, if you will, this dwarf sage carpet filling in to look like that. Exact same plants, it will grow in to look like that in time. Give it a couple months or so. Shouldn't take too long. But anyway, let's get to the project we're going to do today. And I did mention that we were going to be doing rescaping this 75 gallon jungle vale tank. And that's what we're going to do today. So I'm going to start by scraping the glass. So that we can get a little better idea of what's going on here. Now that that's done, we're going to try and remove as much of this algae out of here as we can. Hopefully we can make some pretty quick work of this. As usual, it's easier said than done. At this point, we really can't see what's going on. I'm going to shut this video off for now, collect as much of this algae, and then we'll come back to it. So at this point, we're going to start pulling plants, because we're not going to get any of these fish out of here without pulling plants. Now all these plants are going to go in the 75 gallon above, and that's where they're going to stay. But first we need to pull all of this valve. So we're going to start doing that. It's going to make an immediate mess, and within a few seconds here we're once again not going to be able to see anything. So after that we'll have to wait for it to settle before we can even think about pulling fish. Either that or do a nice big water change, which we might do. And even though we're going to do our usual method and get a fresh nutrient soil layer in here, we're going to use most of this to build up our height like we usually do. And this is going to make quite the mess here. As you can already see, we pulled out the first handful of valve and we already can't see anything. So I'm going to do the rest of this by feel, basically. So I think that's about all the plants. We've completely filled this 5-gallon bucket, which we are now going to fill with water. But we have no idea what's going on in here, so we're going to attempt to let this settle. And see where we're at. If it's not settling within a few minutes, we're looking like it's we're gonna do a nice water change on here, but I don't know how much that's gonna help. I think once I get even if I do a water change, once I start chasing around some fish, they're just gonna kick all this up and make a big mess of it again. So we'll give it a chance to settle, and we'll see about getting these fish out of here. So I waited a little bit, and it's not clearing fast enough, not for me anyway. So we're going to do a big old water change here. So as the water level is getting low, I'm starting to be able to see the fish. So instead of refilling, we're just going to grab the fish while the water's low. Sinkless in here somehow. Well, he's not going in the other tank. I had no idea there was an auto sinkless in there. He's going to go over here. Not sure where he came from. I don't remember ever putting an auto sinkless in there. So this is where we're at. We got as much of the water drained as we can. We got all the fish out. I kind of wish I would have scraped the background and the side here. Sides. But I didn't do that. We'll worry about that later. It's not a big deal. But what is a big deal is there's a lot more gravel and soil in here than I remember putting in here. But it's been in here for years. So kind of makes sense. Anyway, got as much of the water out as we can. I was thinking I was going to use most of this, but it's looking like maybe I'm going to use a third. So we're going to get a bunch of this stuff out of here. we'll save it for another scape. All of this will always come in handy as filler for another tank. So we're going to start with that, getting most of this out of here, or 2/3. Maybe we'll kind of build up our back section first and then take out what we don't need from there. We're going to start by removing this heater. It is nice and cooled down at this point. This is another one of them tanks that was running a little cold and I didn't like it, so I threw a heater in here. Air stone we'll just shove up in this top tank here. Scraper, get rid of that. Now let's start to scoop it. Alright, so here we are. I'm at about, I think, where I want to use the old soil with. But obviously all this dirt and stuff in the front, we got to get rid of that. We got to clean that up before we go any further. So we're going to do that and change the battery out of this camera because it's about to die. And then we'll move on to our next step, which is our applying the nutrient layer in the lower level. Then we'll apply some sand. At which time we will start to aquascape after that. soil. This is Glacial Bay all-purpose potting soil. Get it at your local Lowe's. That's where I got mine. This is a very dark black, very rich soil, which I think is going to serve us well. So we're going to break this up pretty fine. So we've got our lower nutrient layer down. Give you a quick look here. It's about an inch thick through there. Now before we do the upper layer, we're going to do a layer of sand that covers all of that lower layer and that ridge where our rock wall is going to be. Now the reason for that is two reasons. One, we want to gain maximum height by setting the rock on top of the sand. And two, we don't want soil directly under the rock where it can wash and leach out. So it kind of serves two purposes. So now we're going to apply that sand layer to the lower portion in the ridge. Now the first thing I want to do is I want to take this front layer and I want to move it back just a little bit so that the sand can sit in front of it. And again, that will serve two purposes. One, we won't have to look at the soil, and two, it'll help it from leaching up, though we're not going to do it on all sides. It will help. So as you can see, I'm just taking a card and I'm creating just a little bit of a void in there. Push that sand back, or the soil back. Now we're going to take our sand We're going to start with that front open pocket. So here we are. We're going to start the rock work. We're going to start from this back corner, work our way up and around, and do a bit of a triangle scape. Now hopefully we can make something neat. Probably going to do a bit of a time lapse on this, just because of how time consuming it's going to be. It's going to be flipping around rocks till I find what I like. So here we go. Now, I think I have what I want. I think I am happy with that. So far, anyways. So, one thing you're going to notice is a trick off this tripod. There are a lot of little gaps and stuff like that. So if I was to just start filling this with soil and sand, eventually all of that would run out of there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some fine filter floss, as I usually do, and I'm going to plug all of that up. Now you won't see any of it, and it will keep the substrate in what's going to be this higher area held back. But so far, what do you think? I like it. I really like it. So we're going to get that done. Then we're going to build up this back area and start with the woodwork. So sit tight. Alright, we have our filter floss in place. Let me show you a little closer. If you look down in this corner, there's some in here, some in here. In here we built this up with rocks and filter floss. Filter floss in here, 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 and down at the end. So now, let's add that nutrient layer and that sand layer, and let's get to some rock work. Right now we're breaking up the soil here. Attempting to grind it down as small as we can. It is a tad sticky. It's very rich soil. Let's go, nice big handful. Alright, I got 4 pieces of wood here. Let's flip them around and see what we come up with. I already like it. Now we also have this box. Small accent pieces, which I think we will add in. But we will have to glue these in. I think we will. Man, that's not bad at all. I think that looks really good. Let's I think what we need to do for the night is trickle some water in there. Get her up till she's about level with the wood there, and we'll leave her there for the night. We'll come back and tackle the planting tomorrow. For you, it'll be right after I stop this clip. So it's the next day, and last night I filled it up to where it was just at the top of this last piece of wood, because that one was still a little floaty, and I left it for the night. I hadn't glued down any of the sticks, so they all floated to the top. So today, so far, I've drained it down, and I've threw a little glue on these sticks here. So I've been waiting for a little bit, so hopefully it can dry enough to keep them there. We'll see how that goes. But I think we're gonna fill it up and start to plant. Alright, let's do it. But before we do that, I want to add some of this scatter gravel, detail gravel, however you want to, whatever you want to call it. Now this is just some gravel that's different sizes, colors, shapes, textures. It's just going to add some nice detail. We're going to put it in real close to the rock work. So, we're not quite full here yet. As you can see, this tank's looking really good. But I'm kind of running out of time, so I want to start planting some of this jungle val. Now, the jungle val is only going to occupy the back section back there, up on this raised island. We're not going to let it completely take over this tank. We are, however, going to start getting some of this planted. So here we are again. It's been a few days and the tank is looking great. It's nice and clear. A couple water change. I did a water change yesterday. I didn't share with you. When I got home, I attempted to move this rock right here, and that piece still wants to float, so it's going to have to stay there a little bit longer. But today, I want to get some more of the planting done. So we're going to add some red and some more green. to the scape. Now, we're going to take a lot of the red rotala out of here. It's grown to the surface. It's ready to trim back. It's time. We're also going to take some of the bacopa, and I think we're going to take this big piece of macandra just for a little something different. Now we're also going to take some of the Rotala colorata out of the 40 long because I want to get that spread around, and I think it'll look good in here. So I'm going to trim some of that out, and we'll be right back. Now I decided why not take you along for the ride, and you guys can watch me trim this. So we're going here real low, or as low as we can get here. And we're going to start trimming away this Rotala. Rotala Super Red. It's a nice hearty handful there. We ended up having way more Rotala red than I planned on using. I'm not sure I'll even use all of this, but this is kind of what I broke up and put aside. This here, let's see if a little better in the light. Here's that piece of macandra, and then we have all this bacopa here to spread around a little bit. So we're going to start with that, see where we get, and liven up this aquarium a bit. So here we go, let's get to planting. I'm going to start with this big tall macandra, which I'm going to attempt to stick. I was going to attempt to stick back in there. Now, a good deal of this stuff is not in the greatest shape. It's been kind of getting overpowered by the super red. Well, hopefully we can change that in this tank, and maybe this light will do a little better. And I think eventually we'll probably upgrade the lights to the floodlights that we've been using. But these are going to go out in the front, so they'll be separated. They'll get their own light and hopefully do a lot better. So now I've taken some very nice crypts out of the tank above us here, and I'm going to add these in along the rockwork to really finish this thing off. And then that's about done with this tank. I mean, we could add some Anubias, or maybe try some Java fern here and there. But for the most part, at least for now, I think we're about done. So let's get this, let's get these crypts planted. So here she is. It's been a few days, and she's looking good. I still unfortunately cannot remove that rock. I just tried to, and that piece of wood still wants to float. It's kind of ruining the look. I was hoping to get some clips without it there, just so you could see the real final look without the rock. But it is what it is. It will sink eventually. Be waterlogged enough to not float anymore. We'll just have to be patient. But anyway, I hope you like it. It's definitely one of my favorites, if not my favorite. I say that every time I build a new tank. But I am really enjoying this one. So we'll get a few close-up shots before we end out this video. So I want to say thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this build. Thank you to the new subscribers. If you could, hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss anything. I know it's been a while since I uploaded. I've been sick and busy working crazy hours. I have a couple more videos in the works, and hopefully it won't be so long before my next upload. So with that, as always, take care, and I'll see you in the next one.
Over the edge, feel like I'm floating through the air. The pain I felt is paid for, all is said and done. Oh, I am restricted, fixed upon the web. I need to kick the habit that my mind is breathing in. Break out, I've got to see. Spent all my life holding all of it closely. I played it innocent, a feel of discontent. I'm finally facing it all, fearless. Burning the bridge that keeps us. I'm here and I'm feeling fearless. Exaggerated, that's what you assume. The story's over now, I must conclude. I am conflicted, watching where I step still, hanging in the balance. Not the life I want to live, I want to take it all. Standing tall, fear I weighed the person you are.